What is going on? You are listening to TAGSPodcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex. I'm your host, Steve V. Episode 327, first episode of 2022, alongside Jeremy Ross Lopez. Happy New Year, Jeremy. How are
Happy
you?
New Year. I'm well. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Alongside us, happy 2022, Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. Hello.
Hello, darling. Happy New Year. How are you boys doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Did you guys do anything? Kodi, what did you do for New Year's with COVID? I know there's a lot going on. What can you share with us?
It was insane. We spent the week prior to New Year's. My boyfriend's family came into town in New Jersey, and we went to go visit with them for the week prior to New Year's. And then I worked New Year's Eve morning, and then I spent New Year's Eve evening with them. So I brought in the New Year with Joe's family. It was
How
lovely.
wonderful.
They
Meet the
cooked,
parents.
we ate. It was great. I got to meet the parents and the uncles and the aunts and the cousins' boyfriends and everybody. Everybody was there.
Love it. Oh, that sounds great. Nice.
It was so much fun.
Jeremy, how was your holidays and how did you ring in 2022?
Mine was chill. So we just played card games and Cards Against Humanity. We played Left, Right, Center and stuff with some of my cousins and family members. And
I love that.
Drank, sang karaoke, that stuff.
Ooh.
Oh, fun. Super fun. Yeah. I was pretty low key, as I mentioned before. I broke my ankle, sadly, but I have surgery this Friday. Yay. Because to me, that signifies the beginning of the recovery. And like Biden and like a friend to the show, Sebastian Lacaze, I'm turning an obstacle into an opportunity. So you can expect some new things, like a lot of writing coming your way as we turn 5 with Tags podcast in February next month. We turn 5. So a lot of surprises, and there's going to be a lot of writing coming your way that I'm going to share with you guys. And I'm so, like I said, turning an obstacle into an opportunity. Beautiful. Because the alternative is never good. So that's what I'm going with. So yeah, I didn't make the resolution on the New Year's. I kind of made it when the accident happened, and so it just made sense. Go with that, and I'm here. But Queerty came out with 7 New Year's resolutions for the queer community. And before I read a few of them to see if you're on track with these, you guys, kind of wanted to know, do you have any, and do you believe in New Year's resolutions? We'll start with you, Jeremy.
I think they're definitely something nice to think about and keep in the back of your head, but I don't believe that they always come to fruition, at least for myself. Yeah. So I feel like every year I say that I want to start dating, and then I just don't end up going down that route because I'm always working on bettering myself, just like loving myself and getting better financially and physically and all of that. So I feel like each year takes on its own, and I don't know if it follows suit with what I've put out into the universe necessarily. So I mean, they're nice to think about, but I don't like swear by them or take them too seriously, because I think you can't always plan ahead for too much.
Right. These days, especially. And one thing about the dating thing that you've put in the past of your resolutions, I was watching, I know sometimes you watch Daily Pop, and they have this dating expert on there, and she addressed the dating thing, and she said one thing to do is change or pivot the way that you approach dating. So do something different on how you go about it. So if you're always on the apps, then go out and find different ways of meeting people, pivot what wasn't working before and try new things. Kind of hard to do though when we're in the middle of like Omicron,
Right.
however you're saying it these days. But if that's still something on your list for the year, that could be something to explore. Kodi, what New Year's resolutions, or do you believe in them?
I do. I think they're a good way to take stock of the prior year and what's really important to you and what you value, and in through that lens, you can kind of reassess how you want where you want to give your energy to in the coming year. What's really funny is me and my boyfriend Joe. I told him that we are going to make New Year's resolutions for each other, so I made mine.
Bitch, it doesn't work that way.
Yes,
You
it
can't.
does.
That's called control. That's when you don't like the way your boyfriend dresses and you're like, you know what?
You're
He's
not
all
wearing
right.
that
He's
shirt.
great, but I'm going to just little by little slip in a little of this and a little of that. Yeah.
I
I
love
love it.
no, it was so fun. It was just funny. It's a nice cute thing that we did. So yeah.
Yeah, it could be fun as a couple to make a joint resolution together, like
Yeah.
maybe for couples that aren't having enough sex to kind of let's make a pact to have sex 3 times a week or 3 times a day or those kinds of things. Yeah, or who knows,
I'll bring
but
that up to him. I'll put that
bring
in the notes.
that. Put that in your cap.
Oh yeah.
So Queerty, I just want to run a few of them by you, jump in at any time. So they came up with 7 that they think us gays should prioritize, including stop fetishizing straight men.
Oh.
Well, I've certainly been guilty of that, right, Jeremy, in the past?
Yes, definitely.
I'm giving that up. Let somewhat effeminate straight guys be straight. Um, I like that one. What do you
Yeah.
thought? What do you think about that one? When there's another one on here that says, when you're gaydar, stop making everybody gay. That we have a
Yeah.
tendency to do that. Do you think we do that, Kodi?
I do. I think that you want to, especially if they're cute, that's when you're really like, oh, but I could have him. So I think that's something that I have been guilty of before. And sexuality is a spectrum, so we definitely need to leave that in 2021.
Well, funny story on that, Joe, your boyfriend,
Uh-huh.
when your birthday happened last summer, I sat next to Joe's roommate, at least at the
Yes.
time, and I just assumed he was gay. And he says, "What are you drinking?" And I said, "Oh, I'm going to have a glass of Pinot Noir next, I think, or a glass of wine." He said, "Do you want to share a bottle?" And I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Is he coming on to me?" And he's only like 30 and he's kind of cute. And I was all getting up and like, oh, is this my date for the night on Cody's
Oh,
birthday? Is that why? And then to come
I'm
to
sure you could
find
have had
he's
him.
totally straight.
You could
He
get
was
him, girl.
I don't know about that, but it's just funny how I immediately assumed that
Yeah.
he was available and on our team, and he wasn't. But he was a nice guy, and I loved sharing the bottle of wine. Next up on the list is something I think I'm kind of guilty of, and I don't know where I got this green thumb, but stop buying plants. You got enough, is what they write. And I don't know where I got this. Jeremy kind of got me on the roll with this orchid that's been blooming every year. And
Nice.
you sort of started me, and another friend started me with a money tree. But I since then have 3 more plants, and I think I got to stop because with this broken ankle, I'm putting the ice cubes in there to keep it alive. But I only have so much energy, so I got to stop with all that. Um, don't add to the social media pile on. So, in other words, they're saying when
Ah.
someone's down on their luck, we're so quick to and weigh in, particularly
Yeah.
on platforms like Twitter. You two don't really fall into that at all, do you, Jeremy? I don't
No, I
think.
wouldn't say so.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
either. I'd say spread love, not negativity.
But this next one you may be guilty of. Maybe just get off social media in general.
Ooh.
Essentially, we spend so much time on social media, which is causing more anxiety and feeding the compare and despair phenomenon to radicalizing audiences. We'd probably all be a lot better off if we weren't so addicted to it. Are you guilty of spending too much time, Jeremy, on social media? And is that something you do want to change?
I don't think I've spent more time on it as of lately than I used to in the past. I also don't spend a lot of time dwelling. So, like, if I see something, I've been
Do you
using
say
social.
something?
I've been no, I've been using social media more for like inspiration and artistic things, and like I've actually started to follow a lot more of like fashion pages and interior
Ooh.
decorating and design pages, and taking more inspiration from that than following like individual people, and like I don't know, just more interest in uh artistic things and outlooks rather than like physical features and looks of like guys and plastic women and all shit that I used to be interested in on
And I can
social
attest
media.
to that, Jeremy, because on Facebook you post some really lovely postings with your family and just how grateful you are to be surrounded by your family and a lot of inspiration. And I see that. I think it's true. Pivoting with, if we're so embedded with social media, it's not going away. And
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
think it's hard to just drop everything, but I think pivoting on how you consume and share is such a great thing. What's your thoughts on that, Kodi, and how you approach social media?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think that if you put the effort in social media into things that you have a passion for instead of getting lost in like rabbit holes, I'm guilty of that, of like viral videos and things like that on TikTok. If you actually use it constructively, I think that it can actually be a benefit. And also I can see the point of actually limiting your time on social media, maybe not cut it out entirely, but just dedicate an hour or two a day, or I don't even know if that's really
Right.
feasible. Maybe 5 hours a day, and then that way you won't really find yourself wasting time on social media. It'd be about constructive, concise, a pathway.
Yeah, and there's so many great people that post inspirational postings, and yeah, I think just being aware of it is what I'm doing as well. Moving on, Six Flags says it has dropped a ban on quote affectionate behavior between couples at its amusement parks. So the policy
Oh.
change came after a gay couple were removed from a queue for a ride at the Six Parks in Mexico City because they were kissing.
This
And
is my friend.
what? Really?
This is my
This
friend.
happened?
This is my friend John. John post. He was in line with these people. So go ahead, finish the story. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well. Okay. I love the tea. I love the tea. The individuals in question were not asked to leave the park, but a friend who was with the couple, maybe this is your friend, took to Twitter to explain that what happened. And most of its tweets were in Spanish, but translated, they explain how the gay couple were told by staff their actions were unacceptable in a quote family-friendly park. This is
Mhm.
even though opposite sex couples were also kissing and showing affection to one another in the queue.
Yep.
And a man who introduced himself as the park director explained that kissing was, quote, disrespectful to others. Oh, really, mister? Local LGBTQ advocates were outraged at how the gay couple were treated and took to social media to complain and a call for a kiss in outside the park to protest. Oh, I
Oh
love that.
wow.
Yesterday, or the other day, actually, when this really came out, Six Flags issued a statement to its brand Twitter account saying it was dropping the ban on public displays of affection. Quote, in an effort to maintain a family atmosphere, Six Flags had maintained a policy of discouraging visitors from being overly affectionate while visiting the park. The company said it stressed in bold type the policy applied to all visitors, regardless of race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation. However, based on guest feedback, we have determined that having a policy that speaks to affectionate behavior is not necessary, and we have removed this policy. Wow, good for Six Flags for
Yeah.
back to social media. The only reason Six Flags Mexico or Six Flags the brand responded was because of Twitter. Maybe your friend Kodi, we'll hear from you in a sec, but social media was really responsible for the kiss-in outside of the park, and also for Six Flags to have to step up to the plate and say this is wrong and change their policy, all because of social media. So funny how, piggybacking off of the last topic, Kodi, what's your thoughts and what can you tell us about your friend?
I'm so glad that people are actually standing up for their rights now, and especially in 2021 and 2022. This is something that's so needed, and I'm so happy that I know somebody that's involved in actually advocating for gay rights and equality. And when I saw it, I couldn't believe it. I'm struggling. I looked at his profile just 2 seconds ago, and to see when he posted it, and I think it was an Instagram story, so it's gone by now.
Right.
So I don't really know. I had just seen it in passing. I think it was over the holiday, so I was so busy and I forgot to follow up with him about it. I should text him right now.
Text them right now. Yeah, these are age old, grandfathered in rules at our that are at family friendly spaces. That I think it takes social media. It takes a couple to do this, and for people to change. The only time I haven't been to a theme park in so long, and the last time I was to hear a friend DJ at actually Six Flags in New Jersey, and it was gay day, so of course there was more than just kissing, y'all. I'm just gonna say
Ooh,
that.
I
But
miss
Jeremy,
those
what are
days.
your thoughts? Yeah, what are your thoughts on this? I
I'm
mean,
really glad that they stood up for it, and I think that it's like just absolutely ridiculous and just an asinine thing to point out and ban, and I'm just glad that it was immediately handled properly in the right way. And I just think that public display of affection is like a personal choice and pretty much like a human right. And I
right.
don't love it and I'm not obsessed with it, but if I don't like something that I'm seeing, I just like look the opposite way.
Turn the
I think
channel,
people
look
just
the other
really
way.
dwell too much on things that they don't enjoy, and it's just not that serious.
Yeah, the insanity of it all, to have a man come up to them and say, "This is just not family friendly." It's like, where have you been? Living under a rock?
Right.
Seriously. Especially, I might add, in Mexico City, where they were one of the first, even before America, to have gay marriage inducted as a right. And so it's just, and I can't believe this man thought that he could come up to somebody and say that. But I do applaud social media and the people, and your friend Kodi.
I
Thank God.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. Coming up, we are giving our favorite thing to do is give solicited sex and relationship advice. But before, we have got another topic that I can't wait to get your feedback on this, you guys. I love this next topic, crunch fitness. This is an interesting one because a lot of people's New Year's resolutions are all about getting fit, going back into the gym, body, body, body. And Crunch Fitness asks patrons to have sex anywhere but the men's locker room. This was kind of a cringe story to me and kind of embarrassing if I was a Crunch member, but it looks like Crunch Fitness doesn't approve of certain aerobic activities, they write. In a
Ooh.
flyer shared on social media, a Crunch gym asked its members to stop hooking up in the men's locker room. So here's the text message, the emphasis of which is theirs. Attention members, please do not have sex in the men's locker room. You can have sex literally anywhere else, just not at Crunch Fitness. Otherwise, your membership will be immediately revoked. Please keep this safe space for all crunchers. Um, it's funny because I remember belonging to Crunch Fitness in WeHo, West Hollywood, the infamous where I think it's how I got the job booked on the Madonna video that I was in, American
Hey.
Life. No, but no, but it was notorious for hooking up and steam. I've been noted in the past, in the way
Uh-huh.
past, to have some
Uh-huh.
fun, to have some fun in the steam room. Not so much anymore,
Yeah.
but people were not having it on the thread that spoke to it. Some people were. Somebody pointed out that the men's bathroom. They didn't like the fact that they pointed out that it was the men's and they didn't just say all locker rooms, but then somebody else pointed out that it's because sex is only happening in the men's locker room, y'all. Women, lesbians aren't hooking up in there. Would you be embarrassed by this, Kodi, if you were a member of Crunch, or what would be your thoughts? Or damn,
as a prior member of Crunch, I know, right? It was me, you guys. I was the one that got us banned from Crunch locker rooms. I have been known to have my fun in a steam room or two myself, and as I've grown out of it, I don't want to deny. I feel like a hypocrite saying that I deny the younger generation that opportunity, that experience, but there are so many other places that you can have sex, like the Crunch people said. So I am fully on board with the Crunch team in saying that go have sex in a gay sauna somewhere where it's more socially acceptable, because I know that people don't want to see that. If I had to see straight sex in the gym, I would not be happy. So
you mean like a bathhouse is what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
I go back to what I said at the beginning of the show: turn an obstacle into an opportunity. And the other thing, Jeremy, is when I belonged to Crunch Fitness in West Hollywood back in the day, and they used to have, literally, you'd walk into the locker room, and on either side of the women's and the men's locker room, they had these smoked out showers that you would look at people and their silhouette in the shower. So they almost encouraged. So if you went on, like in the men's locker room, if you had a chance to take a shower on the left or the right side, if you took it on, say, the right side, your silhouette you were putting on a show for anybody walking by the locker rooms. So in my mind, back in the day, they encouraged sex in there. Come on now. And now, because probably, it always comes down to one too many complaints, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they got one too many complaints. So of course they had to put that down. And what's your thoughts on this, Jeremy? And
I honestly think it's like, I don't know. It's like inevitable, and I don't think that Crunch is the only gym that this happens at, and I just don't think it's something that they're ever going to be fully able to stop. And I mean, I don't mind it. If you, like I said before, if you don't like it, then don't watch it. If you're in a shower and someone's fucking in the one next to you, then hurry up, wash your body, and get out. I mean, it's just not that. It's like men
or thank your lucky stars and enjoy the show.
I was gonna say jack off. Or
get some
joint. I honestly think
get some popcorn and
something new, and I'm like, it's bringing a lot of light to something that is not brand new and is definitely not only happening at Crunch.
Yeah,
let's be honest. That shit happens at every single gym in the world, in every men's locker room. I'm sure it's not the first, not the last, and not going to change because of a little notice or flyer that they send out. And you know that all of these men have plenty of other options to subscribe to if they end up getting their revoke or their membership revoked because they were giving a BJ in the locker room. So, I mean, I don't really find it that serious.
I know the country has totally taken a conservative pill in the last few years, but the most hilarious comment that came out of all this was that somebody says, "Now I know how to get out of my membership." You know how damn hard it is to get out of your gym memberships when you're
really,
just
really
like
difficult.
It's difficult.
Oh my goodness.
You could die and they'll still be charging your account card. And your family will be like trying to get he's dead, and they'll still be like, doesn't matter, he signed that contract where you have him locked in. His spirit is lifting those weights over there and lifting those kettlebells, and we know it. And it's just so dumb. And so this is a guaranteed thing. Like, have sex in the locker room if you really want to get out of your contract. You're out, and then you don't have to pay anymore. So I think it's kind of a brilliant comment. I love that.
They would probably cancel your membership and still charge you, is probably what will end up happening.
Well, yeah, I know. It's probably too good to be true. Damn it. Hey, Tags listeners. Craving for more tags? Hungry like I am? Well, now you can unlock exclusive Tags content. I'm talking about our weekly Tags After Show and our twice monthly Dark and Dirty Show. Now you can listen wherever you get your podcasts. You'll get a notice each week when new episodes are dropped exclusively for you. So what are you getting from this exclusive content? Well, you're getting a weekly Tags After Show where the conversation continues with hot gay sex topics in a more relaxed, behind-the-scenes, more intimate format. Our twice monthly Dark and Dirty Show will often feature special guests like my co-hosts, but gets a little darker and a little dirtier as we reveal our sexcapades to your exclusive ears. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe now to unlock exclusive Tags content and know that you'll be supporting Tags Podcast to continue delivering the quality of Tags Podcast you've come to love. You can unlock this exclusive content by going to TAGSPodcast.com and click on the link Tags After Show. Thanks for being a supporter and continue having hot gay sex. All right. Well, it's our favorite time. It's time to give some advice for some listeners. And up first is, we'll just call him Brandon here. Brandon says, hey guys, first of all, love the podcast. Makes my commute to and from work so much easier. Oh, happy to hear that, Brandon. But I had a question for you. So this year I got into working out and currently I've lost 30 pounds and counting. Congratulations, Brandon. I also have been going to therapy and the combination of the two have boosted my confidence. So in all, I've been having a lot of great sex. Okay, now I'm jealous that I'm not going to be having sex for Having said that, 99% of the time I am top hooking up with the bottom. Now, ass is my favorite fruit and I will continue to eat it. In actuality, I am versatile and I'm finding pleasure in bottoming, but always end up getting hit up by a bottom or tops asking to bottom for me. I'm guessing it's because of my body type and appearance. What's a way for me to live a versatile lifestyle that I'd like? Thanks in advance, Brandon. First I want to just commend you, Brandon, thanks for writing in, being so honest. And, it takes a lot to commit, talk about resolutions. Sounds like you just did it in general. Losing 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Doing anything like that is commitment. You mentioned boosted your confidence. And I think when you have confidence is when you tend to state what you really want, what you want in life, what you really want from another person. And so I think already if you're naturally drawing bottoms into the mix, that you can also use that confidence to draw in being versatile and being a bottom when you want to bottom. So I think that comes down to changing if you're meeting guys on your profile, changing it on your profile. Look at your profile as it doesn't have to be set in stone. You can maybe take a great picture of yourself in a jock strap and flip it when you're ready to bottom and use the confidence that you have accumulated to say, tonight I'm bottoming. And I think whenever you put that energy out there of what you want, you get what you want. You have to use the tools that you've already put out there for yourself to get what you want. But I know my co-hosts have some great advice for you. Kodi, what are your thoughts and what's your advice for Brandon?
What kept coming up for me was that there always seems to be more bottoms than tops out there. I don't know why that kept coming up for me, but
well, we have a story later that I'm going to read. Grinders,
oh, really?
They did a whole thing on this, and you'll be surprised at some of the answers. But go ahead.
Okay, all right. So I was just, but that being said, I think that, like you said, if you put that energy out there, that energy of I want to bottom, and see what you attract in that respect. If you continue to put that energy out there, and like you said, take some good ass pitch. As long as you accentuate your assets and make sure that they are front and exactly, and make sure they are front and center. That is I know for me being a top, mainly top, 90-10. That is what I look for in a profile when I'm out there. And also, like you were saying, on your profile, there are filters to where you can filter out. If you're looking to bottom, use those filters and filter out all the bottoms, and so you only see tops, and then continue to hit up those tops. Like you said, it's all about energy.
Well, Kodi, just to stay on you for a second, sorry, just to stay on you for a second, you said that 10% of the time you like to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
What in the past, maybe not so much now, but when you were single, did you do to look for those tops for that 10% time?
I would go with couples.
Oh, I love that.
And then one of them, I would be in the middle. I like being in the middle. I like all the attention being on
Okay.
me. So, yeah.
Jeremy, what's your advice for Brandon?
I like the idea of asking what you want, like putting out what you want and being upfront about what it is that you're looking for. I think that is always the best way to go. It's also the most honest way, and I think you end up getting what you want or what you're looking for. I think it's really helpful to work on building your confidence by putting it out there and stating what it is that you actually want.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I know, so because he mentions in here, he's guessing that 9 times out of 10, people come to him to ask him to be at the top. And the good news is, it sounds like he likes to top too.
Yeah.
So I feel like, Brandon, you're in a really good spot right now, a really great spot. You've got so much confidence right now. You're confident with your body. You do actually like topping and eating ass. So it's not like the other way around where, oh shoot, I only want a bottom and I just keep getting these bottoms coming to me. It's when you want to go that direction, you've kind of got everything on your plate and are in a great position to dictate that. And it's just going to be a little tweaking here and there. Like we said, take those pictures, putting it out there on changing the profile
Yeah.
that you want to bottom tonight, and don't be afraid to put it all out there. People love a built or a
I was just going to say, I think he's
you
going to be
know
pleasantly surprised by the response that he gets. I love fucking a nice, juicy bottom. Thick and
okay,
juicy.
thick and juicy. Brandon, are you hearing us? I'm pretty confident and have no worries, but you know what, Brandon, keep us posted on this, because we love that you wrote in, and thanks so much. All right, good one. Moving on to Titus. Titus says, I have a pseudo, loves the podcast, and says, I have a pseudo unique, not so unique in the gay world relationship. Here we go again. We are
Mhm.
both tops and don't often go for the same type. Of course, at times I'm curious about his hookups. It's part of being an inquisitive person, but more often than not, I'm happy that he is finding pleasure in doing his thing. Recently, I've noticed that I feel some sort of way when he hides his phone when on the apps. For example, when I walk in the room, he scrambles to close the app or shut off the screen. I'm not sure if it's a yearning for attention on my part or a feeling of, why are you hiding your app when we both do it? Just show me. I completely understand the privacy some build up when looking at an app, but at this point there is no need to be scrambling to hide you're that you're on it. What's the
Mhm.
best way I can approach letting him know that it's okay, or should I just drop it? Well, I definitely don't think you should just drop it, to
Yeah.
answer your first question, because it's a concern you obviously wrote into us. I think if you just dropped it, it's going to fester like so many things do. And the other thing I was thinking about is, we talk about open relationships, and I think they're great. We've been accused at times of some of us co-hosts maybe not supporting them, but we really do here. We
Yeah,
support
we
all.
definitely do.
Believe me, we do. And I think when you do embark, if I were to embark on an open relationship, I do think it needs that much more communication to
Yes.
continuously check in. And I couldn't think of a better time to check in than the beginning of the year. Talk about resolutions, to check in with your
Right.
boo and say, hey, listen, this is sort of bugging me. I know I want to check in with you. I want to have a little bit more openness about our hookups. And to, some people are really private with their hookups or when they get in that mode of looking on the apps. And I definitely understand that for sure. But I think if it's bothering you, this would be a great time to check in at the beginning of the year as we approach our sexcapades in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Have a nice comment. Don't do it when he is on, when he's pulling it away. Don't do it then, because it's only going to bring out defensiveness. Do
Yes.
it when when you guys are having your alone time, your date night, when you're just chilling, and say, hey, I wanted to talk about this and how reinstitute this year of our relationship and how we go forth. And one of the things is, and then go on with that. That's kind of where I'm coming from with the advice for you, Titan. But what's your
Okay.
advice, Jeremy, on this?
So I think that it would be also a good idea to like be a little bit more playful about it and maybe like bring it up together, like the apps, and open them and maybe conversate about the people that you've chatted with and stuff. I mean, it is after all your significant other, so it's not like
Mm-hmm.
they're a total stranger, and I don't take the apps that seriously. So like for me personally, I think it's fun to just like browse, see who's in the area. If I'm with a gay friend or like a gay family member, it's funny to like just compare messages and like I don't know, it's just it doesn't have to be so serious. And so I think especially with your boyfriend, it would be a little bit more uh less of a secret and more comfortable if you make it that comfortable. But if you don't address it at all, I don't think that that's helpful. So I definitely don't think uh, just dropping it altogether would be helpful, because I think, like you said, it just adds up to creating animosity for that whole situation and subject. So I think it's helpful to just talk it into existence and like maybe be a little bit more open with your partner just about the app in general, because it doesn't have to be so serious.
Absolutely. And the whole thing about open relationships is I think everyone can be cool with it, but everybody is coming from it from a different
Mm-hmm.
viewpoint, a different standpoint. And I think it's so easy to think that, yeah, we want an open relationship, but we all come with our individual baggage, if you will,
Yeah.
or our individual, if you want to look at it more positive, individual stories. And it's not always going to align perfectly. So I think you got to check in every year. I go back to beginning of the year. This is a great opportunity. I love that word right now,
Mm-hmm.
to check in with your boy and tell him honestly that that kind of bugs me. Maybe you'll. It, I think it might lighten like you said, Jeremy, it might lighten the mood a little bit. And he might say
Mm-hmm.
why it does. If somebody were to ask me, I think I would probably be the same way. If I was in an open relationship, I would be quick to pull my phone away, like, oh, I don't want him to see that. Um, Even though they know,
Yeah.
just because I don't want people to think they know what they know about what I'm doing.
Oh, but we know,
And
honey. Okay.
I know you know. I know you know. But Kodi, besides knowing, what's your thoughts and what's your advice for
I
Titus?
I agree with both of you guys. You guys made some very valuable points. And I just want to say that I think communication is the basis of any relationship, but in an open relationship, it's especially key. And I think that he should bring it up to his boyfriend and they should talk about it. And to me, it sounds like they have some comfortability issues. Titus seems very comfortable with being open about it, and his boyfriend doesn't seem comfortable at all. They need to find that happy medium between the two and come to a resolution that way. But it's all about compromise at the end of the day. Also, just like Jeremy said, they could go on together. Titus mentioned that they don't like the same type of guys. So I think that if they try, there's always a happy medium. There's like a Venn diagram. There's right in the middle between the two of them. There's somebody that they find both attractive. They could probably even go on and try and find somebody that way. If they go on together and they try and hit somebody up and try and find somebody, it's all about communication and finding that happy medium.
I love that point because they could make it kind of fun
Yeah.
and add a new tier level, whatever you want to call it, to their open relationship. And not all the time, obviously, but it
Yeah.
could be fun if they're just both sitting on the couch or watching like a reality show and like, hey, what do you think of this one? Just for fun and kind of get each other's input could add this new level to their relationship. Doesn't mean that they're going to hook up in a threesome, but it could
Yeah.
just be like, what do you think of this one? I kind of find this one hot. So it opens up that window into your partner a little bit more on what turns them on, which could be hot, and says that it's okay that we know a little bit about what turns you on. I think that could only be a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Titus, I hope that helps. Please keep us informed, and I hope that helped for you. If you want sex or relationship advice, want us to weigh in, we are here for you to give that solicited advice. You can always DM us on Instagram at TAGSPodcast or email us. Go to our website, TAGSPodcast.com. All right. Lastly, there is, speaking of, Grindr did this whole thing on looking at where their users are. And you said, Kodi, recently it's hard to find a top. There's so many
Okay.
bottoms. You might be surprised by the stats that show
I
how
got
their
competition.
user. Yeah, so they did a whole statistical analysis on their users on the app around the world, not just in the
Okay.
States, to find out where everyone's falling in. You might be surprised. Most users, okay, so here's some of the findings. Most of the users by city fall at number 1, Paris, love. London, number 2, love. New York, number 3. Sao
Okay.
Paulo, number 4. And Los Angeles, number 5. Okay, not too surprising
Not
there.
shocking. Yeah.
All right. Highest percentage of, quote, looking for right now. So this is the highest percentage
Ooh.
of looking for right now. Not surprising, the United States. Behind that, Australia.
Okay.
Number 3, the UK. Number 4, Ireland. And number 5, Canada. All right. Here, Kodi, is where you were just talking about.
All right.
The highest percentage of tops. It's a country. It's not in the U.S. Any guesses?
I already know. So is it fair if I still guess?
How do you know?
It was on Instagram.
The Philippines.
It
Did you
is.
get
Yep. Yeah.
the Philipines?
I
Really?
couldn't
I've
believe it when
never
I saw
guessed
it.
that.
I know. I mean, I love the culture of the Filipino culture. So I'm not. But coming in at number 2, I like almost better Colombia.
Oh.
I love a good Colombian top here. Let me just say. And now coming in at number 3, I like maybe the best of the best, Argentina. Oh, I love Argentina so much. Not
So
mad
hot.
at that.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 4, I'm kind of obsessed with the place I really want to go to, Israel. And I'm thinking they probably focused on Tel Aviv. I don't know, but pretty cool. And coming in at number 5 is India.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Jeremy, does any of those stats surprise you, of any of those countries?
I mean, I think they all do. It's interesting information.
Have you ever met a Colombian? Whenever I meet the Colombians at the Eagle Bar here in New York, they are ready to go to top me.
The Colombians are always frisky. I remember so many from New York.
They got a
all
lot of
lived in
testosterone.
Yeah.
All right, so
in Queens.
well, we couldn't talk about the tops without going to the bottoms. And
Okay.
this is Grindr, highest percentage of bottoms by country. Do you know this, Kodi, already?
It wasn't on Instagram, so I don't know.
Okay, simmer down now, peanut
All right.
gallery. Coming in at number 1 with the highest percentage of bottoms, according to Grindr, is Vietnam. Okay.
Oh.
I've always wanted to go to Vietnam.
Me too. No. Okay.
Number 2, China.
Really?
Well, China's so damn big. I mean, it's a big gaping hole. Come on now. Coming in at number 3 is another big gaping hole, South Africa. I love South
Really?
Africa.
I would have never guessed that.
Number 4, not a big country, Peru.
Oh.
But there's some, if you're looking for a good bottom, head to Peru.
There.
I've always wanted to go to Peru. Yep. And lastly, coming in at number 5 of highest percentage of bottoms is Poland. Okay. Would not have guessed that.
All right, destinations, vacation destinations. I'm ready.
Right.
Vacation destinations. And piggybacking off of our last topic of open relationships, the highest percentage of open relationships, according to Grindr, number 1. Wow, I would not have guessed this. India.
Okay.
We don't know enough about India. India, will you please write in, and we want to hear from you, because I feel like I don't know enough about India to know that's the case. That's amazing. Number 2, a place I love and maybe not surprised, Thailand. Love me some Bangkok. Oh yes.
Pun intended.
Love it. Mm-hmm. Coming in at number 3 of open relationships is Switzerland, followed by Vietnam, again in the race. Okay, Vietnam, I gotta see you. I see you. And number 5 is Algeria. Oh. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And then lastly, this is kind of a fun thing that they did. I didn't know that people did this, but a top Grindr profile songs. Do you guys have a top song that you put on your Grindr profile, Jeremy?
Who puts songs on their Grindr profile? Is that a thing?
Well, mine would be. Know that was a thing.
Mine are never in the top 10, so I would be totally out of it, and I would be changing it every week. Yeah. But not surprisingly, "Kiss Me More" by Doja Cat and SZA was up there. Jeremy, didn't we see SZA opening for Janet at one point?
She was so good at that Randall Island Festival.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Not surprising, Montero, Lil Nas X.
Oh, there, yeah.
This next one, I actually like this song. "Rain on Me," Lady Gaga, Ariana Grande.
That's a good one.
Love it. "Easy on Me," Adele. Ugh.
That sounds sad.
I can't with the last two. I just can't. And "Happier Than Ever" by Billie Eilish.
Oh no, that's another swipe left.
Eilish. I can't with those two last ones. I just can't. We're forced to like them. It's just, yeah.
I mean, I love Adele, but I'm not. It's not what I'm looking for. It's not what I'm looking for when I want to hook up.
All right. Well, thanks for playing on that. And lastly, Kodi and I, we've been talking so much about Matthew Camp's sex doll, and he's back in the news with it because he made a whole sex scene with it. Before we get into that, I have to say, if you remember, I said this on last week's wrap up 2021 episode that I did solo. I said the comeback kid of the year in our gay sex world is Matthew Camp. Oh. Why? Because if you remember earlier in 2021, his house was burned down.
Right?
Yeah, burned down. And it was a beautiful house in the woods. Yeah. He lost his entire house. Well, what happens later in the year? He has a blow-up doll that's like, I mean, talk about turning it around.
That's right.
I called him
goals.
He gets the 2021, and he's nominated for a straight up gay porn award. So talk about the Comeback Kid Award. It goes to Matthew Camp.
To him.
However, his sex doll, which we've been talking about, has been compared to Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I know you guys got to look at it. I will post this on TAGSPodcast.com. But if you look a little further into this, which I will post, like I said, to induct the doll, they actually did a whole sex scene with Matthew Camp and the sex doll, including Matthew Camp having sex with his own doll and licking his doll's feet in one point, which to me, I don't know. Talk about a PR nightmare. I don't know. Maybe it'll work. What were your thoughts, Jeremy? You were saying offline that we're a little bitchy on this one.
No, I think it looks much better with the hat on. It's less creepy. And I definitely
put that
think
hat on, doll.
I also think him having sex with his own doll is like just really gross, and not here for that.
I don't want to see that, Valerie
All
Cherish.
right.
And
Comeback.
I'm also thinking, bitch, get that cash, because this doll is $4,000.
Are you kidding me?
Yep,
We didn't
30
see the price tag.
$39.97, and you can only buy it through onlydolls.com, the #1 sex doll marketplace.
Oh my! Well, you know what's interesting about it is when I first saw it, he's got a hard, erect penis, so you could sit on it, and that might be fun if you were a total Matthew Camp fan. What I didn't realize when I watched the video of them producing this sex scene with the doll is it's so funny. I felt like we're talking about Annabelle, but when they did the sex
kind
scene,
of.
he apparently has an ass that you can. Why wouldn't he? Right? That you can fuck too. So you could
I'm
kind of have
looking
your
at that, and it's like it's an odd kind of like lightly brown hole, and it doesn't
What?
show like any cheeks at all. It's literally like
Oh
almost
my
kind of
goodness.
flattened out. So
So he
that
doesn't need
design
anal.
is
So the doll doesn't need any anal bleaching, is what you're saying.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems a little forced to me, but being that he's the comeback kid, Kodi, I can't
Yes.
really be too mad at him
I said
for,
it before.
he needs to make that cash to get that house back. So
You're right.
are
You're
you,
right.
yeah, what are your
But I said it
thoughts?
before. I say it again. This doll is demonic, and and everybody agrees with me apparently. And them having sex together sounds like how you get the Antichrist. I don't know. I just want to see what happens in 9 months. That's all I want to say.
But I mean, think about it, guys. You could hire a rent boy, a rent man. I think it's rent men now these days.
But do you get to
For a
keep them?
fraction, you don't get to. You could have that same guy over every single week for the next probably 10 weeks before you made that $4,000. I don't know, but you know what? It all depends. You can't have Matthew Camp, but if you really had a thing for Matthew Camp, then what's $4,000? You can. It's the next best thing. That's all I got to say. Oh my God. Thank you guys for weighing in. This has been a really fun intro to 2022. It can only get better from here. Thanks, guys, for playing. You
Definitely.
can always follow, you can always follow my co-host on Instagram. Follow Jeremy at JRossLopez. Follow Kodi at KMD Coaching for his life coaching, or Mr. Maurice at Mr. Maurice. And you can follow us at TAGSPodcast. So much fun, guys. Thanks. This is a lot of fun. Yeah. All right, let's make it good. Let's make it good. And in the meantime, continue having hot,
gay
sex. Yeah.